something.
Let's talk more on this now. Joining me is Christine Arm. She is the founder of Women Cross DMZ, and she's coming into us from Honolulu. Thank you so much for your company. You have devoted a lot of time and energy to trying to find peaceful solutions to this problem that has plagued the Korean Peninsula. When you saw those two leaders shaking hands on Friday, what went through your mind?
It's a watershed moment, and I believe a new day for the Korean Peninsula, and I believe a new day for the world to witness historic enemies willing to shake hands, willing to express with genuine, heartfelt desire to reconcile 70 years of division and a state of war. And it was an extraordinary thing to witness. I, along with probably millions of Koreans on the peninsula and around the world, shed tears watching the two leaders engage in this process that will ultimately, hopefully, lead to a formal conclusion to the Korean War.
One of the people in Laura Bicker's report a few moments ago, with understandable optimism, which maybe you share, said the first handshake is always the hard part. Doesn't history, though, show us that there have been so many false dawns, if you like, between the North and South?
Yes, and absolutely. And at the same time, we are in a different moment. And for one, we have a president in South Korea, Moon Jae-in, who has extraordinary experience. He was the chief of staff for Roh Moo-hyun, the last liberal president that advanced the Sunshine Policy. So he has tremendous experience. But we also have a situation where he is, setting this off at the beginning of his term, and he has tremendous mandate from the South Korean people. 8 out of 10 South Koreans want there to be a peace agreement. He enjoys popularity like unseen before. And I think that the broader geopolitical situation, the rising tensions between the US and China, have made it such that the two Koreas must come together to prevent a new Korean War, but to advance the interests of the Korean people, and that's what we witnessed in the summit and the Panmunjom Declaration that came out yesterday.
Well, on that point, do you think we would have got to this stage if it wasn't for President Trump playing bad cop to Moon Jae-in's good cop, if you like?
Well, I would say that there were probably unintended consequences of the maximum pressure campaign, and it did work probably in the sense that it so terrified the Korean people on both sides of the DMZ of the prospect of a bloody no strike. We know that a U.S. preventive war would lead to a counter-retaliation by the North Koreans against 87 U.S. bases and 30,000 U.S. troops in South Korea. And so, within the first few days, 300,000 people would be killed, and obviously up to 25 million people would be impacted were there to be a conflict. And so I think that was a tremendous incentive for the two Korean leaders to get together and to begin a process. I would say that while we have a lot to anticipate with the Kim and Trump summit coming up in a few weeks, the greatest deterrent to prevent there to be any kind of conflict on the Korean Peninsula is what came out yesterday, which is the peace process that is beginning between North and South Korea.
OK, Christine Arm, we'll leave it